The year is 1871, and the Franco-Prussian War is in full swing, with the French war effort looking pretty bleak. So bleak, in fact, that in January, the German Empire was proclaimed, marking a big shift in the European balance of power. Just 4 months later, in May of 1871, the Treaty of Frankfurt was signed, officially ending the war and forcing France to cede the territory of Alsace-Lorraine to the newly unified German Empire. This is how Germany acquired Alsace-Lorraine. But what made the region so unique? Well, to understand that, we first need to talk about the German Empire. Despite appearing as one unified state, it functioned more like a federation, with each region retaining its own monarchy and governance. Prussia, being the largest state, held a disproportionate amount of power, controlling nearly 2/3 of the empire. However, Alsace-Lorraine didn't join this structure by becoming another state or by being annexed by Prussia. Instead, it became a so-called imperial territory, directly governed by Berlin. This was a deliberate choice. Alsace-Lorraine was seen as a trophy of war, and since all the German states had participated in the Franco-Prussian War, the region's administration was designed to symbolize unity. That's why it was directly governed from the capital, meaning it was governed by the nation as a whole. Yet in practice, this meant that it was effectively just a Prussian territory. Given the power Prussia held within the empire's parliament, it's no surprise they dominated the decision-making in Alsace-Lorraine. But it goes even further than that. At the top of everything was the Emperor of Germany, the one person who had the final say in all parliamentary decisions. Since the German Empire was a federation, you might think any of the kings within it could become emperor, right? Well, not exactly. While it might sound logical, the reality was that in the German Empire's constitution, it was specifically stated that only the King of Prussia could become the German Emperor. But how did all this affect Alsace-Lorraine? Its status as an imperial territory set it apart from the rest of the empire. Unlike the other German states, which enjoyed varying levels of autonomy with their own monarchs and parliaments, Alsace-Lorraine had neither. It lacked both a local parliament and a monarch to advocate for its own interests. This arrangement made the region feel more like a possession than an equal part of the empire, more similar to one of the German colonies. Unsurprisingly, this top-down governance didn't sit well with the people of Alsace-Lorraine. Another thing to consider is the mix of languages in the region. Alsace-Lorraine, while always grouped together as one, is actually made up of two distinct regions, being Alsace and Lorraine. While the entire territory had a small German-speaking majority, they were primarily situated in Alsace and at the border with Germany. Meanwhile, in Lorraine, the linguistic divide was much more evenly split between French and German, with the French language becoming more dominant the more south you moved towards France. This large French-speaking population, unsurprisingly, didn't like being a part of the new German Empire, but even many German speakers in Alsace-Lorraine were dissatisfied. While they spoke German, they still felt closer to French culture and traditions. But Germany wasn't interested in preserving this. The German government pushed out a policy of Germanization, trying to make the region fully German. But spoiler alert, this totally backfired, only making things worse as many locals saw it as an attempt to erase their identity. But despite the cultural tensions, the German Empire heavily invested in Alsace-Lorraine's infrastructure, building extensive rail networks and developing industries that transformed the region, turning its capital Strasbourg into a major industrial hub. Factories popped up everywhere, and many settlers from other parts of Germany moved in to capitalize on the new opportunities. This growth made the region a thriving center of production and trade. However, many locals felt excluded, as the benefits of modernization largely served the newer settlers rather than the long-established populations of Alsace and Lorraine. The influx of ethnic Germans didn't help either. The French-speaking population saw it as a threat to their identity, while the arrival of ethnic Germans also left the native German speakers feeling uneasy, fearing the loss of the unique blend of German and French traditions. After 4 decades of social unrest in Alsace-Lorraine, Germany finally tried to make peace by offering the region some limited autonomy in 1911, bringing it closer to the status of other regions within the empire. But then came World War I. During World War I, Alsace-Lorraine found itself on the front lines, with fighting right on its doorstep. After the war, the Treaty of Versailles returned the region to France, marking the end of its time under German control. Or did it? Our story actually doesn't end here. During World War II, in 1940, as Germany steamrolled France and occupied the country, Alsace-Lorraine was once again incorporated into Germany. But with the war's end in 1945 and the collapse of Germany, France re-annexed the region for the final time, where it remains today.